Hi guys, and welcome to my local woodland on what is undoubtedly a crisp winter's day. Yep, winter has come to Northumberland yet again. That's twice in 1 year. What about that, eh? Anyway, joking aside, yeah, it's the lovely crispy morning, but I don't really think it's suitable for big landscapes as such. So what I want to do is spend a couple of hours shooting intimate landscapes, and I'm kicking that off with a nice little detail here of basically a fallen branch where ice has formed on it, and with the running water behind it, it's making quite a nice pleasant little scene. I've fitted a polarizer just to try and cut through a little bit of the reflection of the sky, hopefully to try and sort of enhance how the actual ice looks. I'm shooting it at f11, ISO 200, that's giving me 1 second, 3 second self timer. And I think that's a pleasant little start to the day. Now I've been clarting on with this shot for a while now, and I'm not really convinced it actually falls into the intimate landscape brief I've given myself, well, the winter intimate landscape brief, but I quite like it. And basically what I've got 3 tiers of a waterfall with a tinsiest rock at the top with a bit of ice, so it is a winter scene. I'm getting a little bit of a reflected light from the sky, which I can't decide whether I should kill or not with a polarizer, and I think I'm going for a half-half really. Again, f11, 1.6 seconds, ISO 200. Yeah, I quite like it. I don't think it's achieving what I really wanted to achieve with it. And what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and isolate down a little bit more, coming a little bit tighter, because I'm wondering if I'm losing a little bit of what I'm trying to say by having too much in. You know, a classic case of less is more. It's so slippy. And I tried this shot earlier, I looked at this one and I thought this angle was quite nice. Yeah, that's working far better. Just got to give the polarizer a jiggle. Oh, this is so slippy. I'm going to be amazed if I don't end up on my bottom by the end of this video. Anyway, this next shot is a little bit different, and it's, I don't know, maybe I'm pushing the intimate landscape brief a bit, but what I've done is basically, if I spin you around, we've got this sort of little gorge here, and we've got this sort of branch, well, trunk that's fallen over. And basically I've tried to make the shot as abstract as possible by just sort of zooming in, keeping the branch at the bottom, keeping the ice and the snow there, because I want that winter feel. And just having a little bit of the cliff behind just to give you an idea. So perhaps not enough to tell the whole story, so just sort of still keep that abstract feel, but yeah, perhaps not as intimate as the last 2 shots. But I think it's quite pleasant. f11 again, I think we're getting a second, ISO 200. Polarizer still, just to try and cut through a little bit of the flare. Right, so when I thought about coming out to get some shots today, this is the sort of shot I actually had in mind. And really what it is, it's a couple of nice golden leaves covered in a bit of a frost. So there's a little bit of white going on there. I'm not sure how well it works. It's not really my forte, but I'd like it to be my forte. I like these sort of things. So I'm going to go into focus bracketing. Bracketing. Turn it on. Focus bracketing on, focus stacking on. Number of shots, not really sure. I'm going to do 8. I'll leave it on 5 of focus differential. I'm not really sure when my screen's totally disappeared. It's a bit like watching paint dry, this, isn't it? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong here. When I'm going into focus bracketing, it seems to want to, into focus stacking, it seems to want to disable the live view. I don't know. Now, I'm not sure if it's going from the furthest point back or if it's going from the focus. I think it's going from the nearest point back. So I'm going to try both. So I'm going to focus on the top of the main leaf. Okay, something I hadn't thought of. Because it's allowing for focus breathing, basically what it's doing is cropping the bottom leaf. That's not very good, is it? So I'm going to go purposely wider. So yeah, I suppose the takeaway there is, if you're planning to do focus stacking, because you might get some focus breathing as you focus on the different, as you focus on different focal points, essentially to increase the depth of field, then what you may find is that basically it crops in slightly because the focus will be out. So yeah, keep it wider. And I'm at F11. I don't need to be at F11 because that's not going to. So I've put it to F8, cycle through. I've just taken a few different ones, just essentially different focusing points, so I'm not really sure how focusing brackets and stacking's working together. But what we'll do now is I'm going to import this into Lightroom and then put it in Photoshop, stack it all together and put the final shot up for you to have a look at. So I didn't end up going very far for this shot, and this is a super abstract shot. I actually really like it. And basically what I'll do, if I flip you around so you can sort of see the screen, what we've got this old, I presume grass head, flower head, and there's snow and ice in the top of the little flowers. So coming above, I've tried to create this sort of almost a spiral out explosion. Explosion of ice coming out. It sounds far more dramatic than it actually is, doesn't it? But you get the idea. Now, what I did find is basically where our focusing was made a huge difference. So if you see there, I'm focusing on that flow there. But I did try focusing in the centre to there, which I quite like, but it's making the background a lot more messy. Now I could of course focus stack this, but I think, to be honest, I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. I quite like the background being obliterated as much as possible as I can with Micro Four Thirds, which I know, well, it goes to show it is possible. You just have to focus nice and close to your subject and have your background far enough away, you know. It's just the way photography works. So I think the whole takeaway from today's video is that sometimes to photograph a location, or to photograph a season, or to photograph a mood, maybe to photograph the essence of somewhere, you don't need to necessarily shoot big vistas. You know, big vistas sometimes don't tell the complete story. So I think today, coming to my local woodland and purely concentrating on sort of more intimate landscapes has probably told far more than me coming down and just trying to get one shot of woodland with a bit of a frost on. And I think that's the whole point of this video. There's always more than one way to tell a story. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you again soon for another one. Thanks for watching.